Hi everyone, John Cottrell here of MBODY Yoga, and welcome to Soft Flow Yoga. So glad you can join me. So our class today I've called Appreciate Yourself. What a great theme, right? So in the way that we're going to be appreciating ourselves is bowing and honoring to ourselves. So our class is going to have some forward folds. So in yoga, when we do a forward fold, it is a form of bowing and a form of honoring. And so we're going to be honoring ourselves. So appreciate yourself. We will need some props today. We will need a yoga strap or something long like a jump rope, something like that, a belt of any kind, because we will be doing forward folds and that involves our hamstrings. So a nice belt or yoga strap will come in handy. I'll put this to the side. I've got a couple of yoga blocks here. So if you've got some yoga blocks or some hardbound books, we'll be using these for a couple of postures. One, we like to prop ourselves up when we do our supported back bends, but they can also bring the floor a little bit closer to us in certain postures. So we have that. And I like to have my bolster here. That can just be a big pillow, something soft that you can sit on. And sometimes we use that, sometimes we don't. We like to have it handy. All right, let's go ahead and start in seated. And of course, I am sitting on one last prop, so I don't forget a blanket. And so something soft to sit on or kneel on will also be wonderful for your practice. Now we can begin. So starting in a comfortable seated position, you want to sit up nice and tall here, nice lengthened spine. You might take a few moments and just tune into your breath. You might first just take a full deep breath. Nice full inhale, followed by an exhale. Nice sigh there at the end. Another full breath in and exhale. Very nice. Then just settle into slow, steady breaths here. Just listen to the sound of your breath. Tune into the feeling of your breath. Notice how it moves through your body. This is a wonderful way to just be in tune and connected, letting go of the things that are going on outside of you so you can pay attention to what's going on inside of you. And that's what yoga is all about. This is a deep connection to self so that we are more aware of the subtle parts of ourselves. Because you've made it to your yoga mat, we're going to be appreciating that. So honor yourself today. As you inhale, just feel the lengthening of your spine as breath rises to fill your lungs. So a nice expansive breath. And when you exhale, as you're able, just draw your navel inward toward your spine. It's a light pull sensation inward, a light contraction of your abdominal muscles. Nice engaging feeling here. Do that again, a nice full breath in, once again feeling the lengthening of your spine, feeling nice and tall and proud. As you exhale, just gently pull the belly in, connecting to your center. These are just wonderful ways to fully connect and be more aware of yourself as we honor ourselves. Good. Let's just hold here for a few more moments, breathing in and out. Let's take 3 more breaths here, using these breaths to bring energy to the body so we can start our movement. And when you're ready, inhale and extend your arms out and all the way up, a nice stretch reaching for the ceiling. And exhale, extend your arms out across the room as if you're going to touch the walls on either side of you, and just bring your arms back down by your side. Let's do that again. A nice full breath in, reaching out and all the way up. Lengthening through the sides of your body. Exhale all the way out and back down. Now go ahead and continue at your own pace. Now you may not be moving with me exactly. That's all right, because you're moving with your own pace of breath. So if you're breathing a little slower, then you're moving a little slower. And as you're moving, just feel the sensations in your body, that lengthening up and down the sides of your body. Notice your arms in motion and your shoulders. we are going to warm up our shoulders because one of the poses that we do today will involve our shoulders. Good. Go ahead and finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more. Go at your own pace. And when you're complete, you can just bring your arms back down by your side. Let everything relax. And just continue breathing slowly with intention. Good. While still seated, go ahead and bring your hands behind you. Just prop yourself up onto your fingertips. And with the arms behind us, we start to get into our shoulders just a little bit because you'll draw them back right here. And you'll squeeze your shoulder blades together as best as you can. And this kind of opens up the heart space right across the chest from shoulder to shoulder. We'll also gently lift the chin just about here. So we've created a mild back bend. And this is really another setup for our series of forward folds. So you can think of those 2 postures as counter positions, forward folding and back bending. So we'll take some breaths here in our mild seated back bend. Rolling the shoulders back, squeezing shoulder blades together. Take a nice full breath in, fill up your heart, fill up your lungs. Then as you exhale, continue to squeeze your shoulder blades together and you're still drawing your belly button in toward your spine to connect to your center. A couple more breaths. Very good. Go ahead and lower your chin, looking directly forward. Walk your hands toward yourself so you're sitting up nice and tall. And you bring your arms around to the front and they can just rest here on your lap. And just take a breath here in stillness. We're going to change our leg posture here from our cross legs to a bound angle pose. We're just bringing the soles of the feet together. Knees will be bent, out and open. Here's where you might want to use your blocks or books or even some small pillows and just tuck them underneath your knees. Right here. Go ahead and hold onto your shins or ankles in a way for you to sit up nice and tall like this. You have a nice straight spine. We just did a back bend. Now let's do a mild forward fold. We'll inhale, feel the lengthening of spine. Exhale, draw belly button in and just hinge forward just slightly, leading with your heart and chin. Right about here is fine. Now you can see I really didn't move too far. And that really is the intention. Just starting to introduce a fold. And we'll continue to introduce folding while we practice. And we'll get a little deeper as the body gets warmed up. So as best as you can, keep that full length of spine. We're hinging forward, so there probably is some sensation in your inner legs. So we are getting a nice stretch there too. A couple more breaths. And then we'll just kind of hinge our way back up so we're nice and tall, completing that mild forward fold. All right, it's going to move our props to the side here. I'm going to swing my legs around behind, unfold my blanket as we come to our hands and knees. I like to unfold mine out into a nice rectangle here, so I can have my hands up top, knees back here at the bottom, and our tabletop posture. 2 poses that flow together, cat pose and cow pose. Starting with cow pose, it's an inhale to tip the chin up, arching the back here as we create a mild back bend, and exhale, round it all out. Into cat, chin to chest, tucking the tailbone under. Belly button pulls up towards spine. Reversing, feel the pelvis tip back. Your belly feels like it drops towards the floor as we create that back bend. Heart opens, look forward. Exhale, reverse it, tuck it all under. Belly button pulling up towards spine. Feel the curvature of spine and chin to chest. Now these 2 poses, they're opposites, just like the opposites we just practiced. We did a seated back bend and a seated forward fold. Now we're undulating the spine as we flow through a back bend here in cow pose, and nice rounded sensation in cat. Finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more. And then just come to a neutral tabletop posture and just pause here so you can just feel that nice return to your breath, keeping the full awareness on your breath. And then we'll just crawl off of our pad here. We'll just fold it and set it to the side. Come back to hands and knees and we'll set ourselves up for downward facing dog. First, just step your hands forward so your hands and wrists are out from underneath your shoulders here. Spreading out your fingers pretty wide so you create a good base for yourself. I like to grip the mat so we have a nice connection to the ground. With the fingers wide, to stretch between each finger. Press firmly down into the mat so your palms are flat. And feel the straightening of your arms so they're nice and strong. Tuck your toes under. Let's do another cat-cow flow. Inhale to cow. Exhale into cat pose, hold cat pose, tuck your toes under, and then lift your knees off of your mat, send your hips up into the air. You'll form this inverted V shape with your body, hips nice and high. You may have seen me move my feet a little bit, and I'm also moving my hands. That's just a nice way to help settle into the pose. Still keeping the hands flat, pressing firmly into the ground, strong straight arms. I can feel and notice that my ears are running alongside my arms. Knees stay bent while hips lift into the sky. Now look at the center of the mat or right down at the floor or even near your hands and start walking up towards your hands even if your feet land near the center of your mat. And then just drag your fingers toward your toes. This is our first forward fold. We're going to come out of it though. Go ahead and inhale and slide your hands up to your shins or knees so you're only halfway folded. So we're halfway up, halfway down, right in between, creating this nice tabletop posture. Knees are still bent, so you're going to feel the energy in your legs here. That's good. Flat like a table, so feeling the energy moving through the crown of your head directly forward, and energy moving through your hips and tailbone towards the wall behind you. Now shift your weight into your heels so you can easily tap your toes. There's less weight in the toes here. Bend your knees and lower your hips, lifting the chest a little bit. We're maintaining that flat back and taking your arms out to the side. I like to think that you're like a big eagle, perhaps perched on a branch of a tree, ready to fly. Drive the heels into the floor so you can stand up nice and tall, nice straight legs. Continue to reach all the way up towards the ceiling and then exhale. Bring your arms down by your side. Right here, making your way to mountain pose. Feel free to roll the shoulders here. Like I mentioned before, part of our work today will be our shoulders, even though we are working our hamstrings while we're doing forward folds. All right, a little circle of the shoulders backward and forward, even a little bit into the neck, maybe ear towards shoulder, side to side like so, and even shaking the head no, so looking to the right and to the left, and then maybe down and directly forward, down and directly forward. All right, let's do another half salute, starting again in mountain pose right here. Inhale, extend your arms into the sky. Exhale, spread your wings, so arms out and down. Become that eagle on your perch as you bend your knees, sit back into that imaginary seat. Right here, your wings are spread. Inhale here, and exhale, continue to fly downward slowly. Maybe your hands reach your toes. We're going to inhale, slide the hands back up to the shins or knees. Hold again here at our half forward fold. Strongly lengthening, strongly supported by our legs. Then shift weight into the heels. Bend your knees, lift chest, spread your wings again. Standing up tall with straight legs, reaching the arms all the way up. And this exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. This pose is called Samastitihi. It's really just another version of mountain pose. We're just bringing our hands to heart center. Take a moment and just breathe into this heart space. Nice deep breath. Continue to fill up your lungs. Good. Let's come back up to the top of the mat. And follow me here as we do a variation, I should say, of Warrior One. Go ahead and drop the hands down. Inhale, arms out and up. And exhale, bring your arms down to your hips. Soften the knees here. Shifting weight into your right foot. Lean forward a little bit so you have to grip the mat with your toes. Lighten this left foot since we have more of the weight in the right foot. Tap the toes back, the heel is lifted until the leg just kind of naturally stops. We're going to turn the leg, even the body a little bit so we can plant that heel into the floor. And notice how you'll shift to center. This is exactly what you want, so you feel pretty solid here, centered. Hands are still on hips. You're going to push pelvis downward like this and feel the torso rising so we have a lot of space in the belt line so you can easily face forward. Like so. We're going to do two things here. Making sure at first knees feel soft. Then we'll inhale, extend the arms up into the air, and then bend elbows to about 90 degrees, so something like this, for a variation of Warrior One. A couple of nice deep breaths here. Notice how the knees are soft, but the legs still feel strong. And we are in a lunge, but not in a very deep lunge. The feet aren't too far apart. Okay, follow me. Since the elbows are bent and the knees are bent, we're going to extend the arms up and extend the legs a little bit there too. On the exhale, bring the arms down, hands to hips. Now, with hands on hips, see if you can figure out how aligned or where the hips are aligned. At the moment, my hips are kind of turned this way at a corner towards the left corner of my mat. I want everything to face forward, so I'm going to make an adjustment. I'm going to place hands back on my hips. I'm putting a little weight into my right foot, stepping left foot to my left side. And by doing so, I'm going to be able to easily turn my hips so now they're square and facing directly forward. So if you need to make that adjustment, please do so. So feel free to step your left foot to your left side. Legs are straight here. Hands on hips, push down. Inhale, get tall. Exhale, hinge forward. Just as if we were doing a swan dive forward, but we're not going to go very far. Maybe here, maybe just a quarter of the way down. Getting a nice hamstring stretch. Alrighty, holding here. So we're doing some variations of some poses that we'll do later in a different variation. Just going a little deeper. I like to consider these kind of the introductions to the poses that we'll do. Okay, we'll bend this right knee. You might even lunge forward a little bit. This just gives us some leverage so we can easily hinge our way back up. Alrighty. Put the weight back into this front foot with the bent knee. We're going to pick up the left foot and step it down next to the other. Let's go ahead and take both arms out and up. And exhale, bring your hands down to your hips once again. Let's do the other side. Soften the knees, shift weight into the left foot, lean forward so you're gripping more with the left set of toes. Picking up the right foot, I'm actually just peeling the heel off the floor so I can tap the right foot back, heel still lifted. And this is about my natural stop here. Pivoting that right heel to the floor, shifting so I'm centered right there. Nicely settle into this pocket. All right, and I can already sense that my hips are pointing to the right corner of my mat. For now, that's fine. Keep hands on hips, pushing pelvis down, getting nice and tall. So I can face a little bit forward, so a little bit of twist is happening here. That's fine. Inhale, extend the arms out and up. Exhale, bend elbows. Now we've returned to our variation of Warrior One on the second side. Knees are soft. We feel balanced. We're sitting in our center, sitting into this pocket with the variation of the arms. All right, let's do that straight leg version. Inhale, extend the arms up as you straighten the legs. Exhale, bring the arms down, hands to hips again. Now remember, my hips are kind of turned out at a corner. I want to change that so I don't turn the torso because I can easily face forward, but my hips didn't move. I want my hips to be square. So I'm stepping my right foot off to the right side, enough where it just feels a little bit more natural to face forward. Everything's facing forward. Inhale, get nice and tall with hands on hips. Exhale, hinge forward about a quarter of the way down, or at least to a place where you start to feel a light stretch in the left hamstrings. We'll hold here. So we can consider this one of the bowing positions. It just happens to not be very deep. Alrighty? Remember, forward folds, bowing, honoring ourselves. A couple more breaths here. To come out of the posture, let's bend this left knee using this leverage just to hinge our way back up. We'll inhale, reach the arms up into the air, and exhale, bring the arms back down. Let's bring this right foot next to the other, and here we are. Feel free to roll the shoulders back again and forward. And let's go through a sun salutation, really breaking it down. And this will start leading us to the second versions of the poses that we just did here. Inhale, extend the arms all the way up. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees. Here we are in our little perch, but keep it going so your belly comes down towards thighs. Hands come down, head drops and relaxes. Maybe you're touching toes. Inhale, slide your hands up to your shins or knees. Right here, then exhale, fold. So here's our first deeper forward fold. Now what you can do here is maybe just rest your hands on your shins or ankles. Your fingertips might be touching your toes or the floor, or you can bring in those blocks. This is when I was saying you can bring the floor a little bit closer to you and just kind of support your body here. A couple more breaths. We'll be coming back to this posture and just adding a little bit more sensation to it as the legs continue to lengthen and stretch for us. All right, we're going to inhale and slide the hands back up the legs a little bit to re-extend the spine. Still moving on the exhale, bend the knees more. Get low enough to place your hands on your mat in front of your feet so you can start walking your feet back. Take as many steps as you need to towards the back end of your mat, and then just kind of lower the hips a bit so they're about shoulder level. We'll be in plank pose. Take a breath in, notice the strength in your body. Exhale, bend your knees slightly, send your hips up into the air. Downward facing dog. I'm stepping my toes forward slightly, get my hands a little wider. By stepping forward, I get the hips higher. By taking the hands wider, I make a little bit more space in my shoulders. Now, we're going to pick up the right foot, extend the right leg straight back. So you can get as straight as can be. It doesn't have to lift high. Strong, straight arms as you press your hands firmly into the floor. Inhale again. Exhale, bend this right knee. Bring it in towards your chest as you shift your whole upper body forward. Shoulders over wrists and setting the toes down. Doesn't matter where. Toes land. Right heel will be lifted. We'll set the left knee down. Now we're doing this in the event that your right foot doesn't make it all the way up to your right hand. In this case, we use the right hand to pick up the right foot, place it up a little higher, and I'm setting my foot down just behind the right hand. Relift the left knee. We'll pivot left heel to the floor. You can see we're getting set up for our second version of Warrior One. A lot of weight is forward here, so I'm rising up to fingertips. You can even use blocks here to rise up a little bit. Just creating a little bit more space so I can actually pull my hips back. See how I pulled my hips back? And that way I'm getting more weight placed in that left foot, so I have actually less weight in the hands. From here, walk one hand, then two hands to your front thigh, lifting a bit, nicely extended. Through the torso, then inhale, finish, rising up, nice and tall. Inhale, take the arms into the air. Exhale, lunge. Here's our second version of Warrior One. We're going to be here for a moment. We're just going to add on. Moving into a Warrior Two. So first, inhale. Exhale, turn your torso towards the left side of the room as your arms come down to parallel. Now your arms are parallel to the floor. Check in with both arms. Sometimes this back arm likes to drop. Now I'm going to adjust my feet. I like to turn my left foot in this case out. That just feels a bit more natural along my hip and knee joints. There. Nice lunge in front. And there's our warrior two. Let's take this to our next pose, side angle. So reaching forward a little bit to angle the upper half of the body. We're going to rotate the arms here so the right arm or hand just comes to the inner right leg. We don't have to touch the floor here. Just inner leg, brace against it so it keeps the leg opened while the left hand reaches into the air. It's like you're just opening up through the chest. You're also opening up through the hips. All right, with this left arm in the air, first, just bring it right down to your side, and you can keep it here. But if you're able, take the back of your hand and place it on your low back, right here. Or place your hand on your hip, either one. We want to have some mobility in the shoulder so you can roll it back once, twice, and then a third time and just hold it back. So you get a little bit more opening up through the chest here. So hand on hip, or hand at your low back. Try to extend the torso. We are at this angle, but try to feel like you're just moving in the direction that your head happens to be pointing. Now, let's re-extend this left hand up into the air. Exhale, I like to lift a little bit, making some space in the belt line. Turn towards this front foot, arms out, hands flipped up, so I can place the hands on the floor. Rise up onto your tiptoes behind you. Okay, press into the floor with the hands. I call this a runner's lunge. Let's just hold this for a moment. Then we're going to gently set the left knee onto the floor. Flatten this foot. I'm going to walk my hands back and start to sit back. This is where you might be able to use your props again, because we're going to sit down as far as we can without forcing. So I'm going to use my two blocks. You can even use a big pillow or rolled up cushion or a towel or blanket. As I'm sitting back, you'll see this better when I do the other leg. I'm actually sitting on the blocks on my right side. That way this right leg is extended. I'm going to flex this foot. Now, we've got this left knee bent. Now, in the event that this doesn't feel great on your left knee or ankle, go ahead and just take a seat with both legs in front, okay? Hopefully your strap is nearby. I should have told you to place your strap a little closer to you here so we can lasso that front foot. Get a good hold of the strap. Nice inhale to sit up tall and bow forward. Now for me, I don't need to go very far for this. Just enough. I feel that stretch. Now notice, you may have a lot of space between you and the floor. That's fine, especially if you're sitting up on something. If you need a little extra support, you can see I'm using my blanket here and just tucking it underneath this knee so I don't feel like I'm going to hyperextend that leg, especially as I deeply fold or fold a little bit deeper. There we are. This feels good. A couple more breaths. All right, we're going to release this strap. We're just going to set our props to the side here. When I go ahead and move my strap to my left side, move my blanket out of the way. Now I need to get out of this pose. I'm going to sit up, maybe lean back if you're able, drag this right foot so it's flat on the floor. Using the hands, manipulate yourself onto left knee and right foot here. I'm just going to move my blocks to the side, hands out front, far enough where I can easily slide my right foot back so knee is on the floor. Then I can take a few breaths flowing through cat-cow. Just a nice way to rebalance the body, realign the body. Okay, other side. So we're back where we started, hands and knees. Spread out the fingers, grip the mat with fingertips, flatten the palms, strong arms, tuck toes, lift the knees, hips into the air. And just kind of step into place, make
necessary adjustments with your feet and hands. Then, as you inhale, let's pick up the left foot, extend the left leg straight back, not worried about the height. As it extends, make sure you're still pressing firmly into the mat with the hands, so you have strong, straight arms. Inhale here. Exhale, bend left knee, bring knee in towards chest or chin, shifting forward, shoulders over wrists. Again, we're sending the foot forward, left foot forward. If you don't make it to the wrist and it lands here, perfect, that's fine, because we'll set the right knee down, pull back to take some of the weight off of the left hand so I can go get the left foot, move it up closer to left hand, just behind the wrist is fine. Relift the right knee. Pivot or turn right heel to the floor. Rise up to fingertips or bring in those blocks so you can get a good lift, making some space so you can pull the hips back, getting more weight in that back foot. This left knee is still lunging. We're getting some strengthening in that front leg as well. Then bring both hands up to your thigh, a little bit more of a lift right about here. Then extend your arms out and rise up, reaching into the sky. Inhale, exhale, lunge. Here's warrior one. And notice how this feels a little bit different from the first version. One, we've got more distance between the feet, which means you may feel this a little bit more in the legs, particularly the right leg, the back leg, the right hip flexor getting a nice stretch. The arms are straight here, so you're getting some length through the sides of the body. Let's continue. Inhale. Exhale, turn your torso towards the right side of the room as your arms come down to parallel. Check in with the arms, be sure they're nice and straight. Make adjustments with the feet if you need to. I'm going to turn my right foot out, just feels better on the right hip and knee and ankle joints. Side angle pose. We're just going to follow the left arm forward to angle the upper half of the body. Rotate the arms here, my left hand just braced against the inner left leg, while the right hand reaches initially up into the air. That same nice opening feeling. We're going to inhale, open wider. Exhale, go ahead and relax this right arm down. You can keep it here or place right hand on right hip or place the back of the hand at low back. Remember, we want some space in the right shoulder. This is that shoulder work. Rolling the right shoulder back once, twice, holding it back on the third time. Feeling the spinal extension, keeping everything neutral. I'm just turning my neck so it's neutral here. And it feels like I'm moving in that direction, wherever the very top of my head is pointing. Now I'm going to inhale and re-extend the right arm up. On the exhale, I like to lift a little turn, arms forward, flip palms up and fold. Hands down to the mat. Rise up onto tiptoes behind. There's my runner's lunge. All right, we move into what I'm calling that half hero. We're bringing the right knee to the floor, flatten the foot, start walking the hands back, shifting the weight back. It's the same deal. Use your books or blocks. Now you can see this a little bit better. As I sit back and take a seat, this could be a big cushion, rolled up blanket. And remember now, if this is too sensitive for the right knee or right ankle, swing that leg around and just come sitting flat with both legs out front. Okay, we're going for that hamstring stretch. Again, there might be a lot of space between you and the floor, especially if you're sitting on something. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in that folded blanket again, because that was very supportive. And I'm going to go ahead and lasso, see if I can catch my foot out there. There we are. Inhale nice and tall. Exhale, here's my fold. Just getting to this space where, okay, I have sensation. I don't feel like it's forced, but I do feel it. It feels good. I can hold here. And while you're here, just take some deep breaths. Remember, another bowing sensation. Sometimes just holding a pose, like sometimes I get the question, well, how long should I hold a pose? Here, maybe 5 to 10 breaths, but because it's soft flow and we're not moving too deeply into postures, you might find that you can actually hold the pose a little bit longer. I'm going to go ahead and rise up and remove the strap here. Moving my props to the side. Getting my blanket and strap out of the way. I'm going to lean back into my hands so I can bend this left knee and get the foot on the floor. That's just going to help me just come up onto my right knee and foot. Moving my blocks. I'm just actually going to set them there because I'm going to be using them again in a moment. Okay, hands out front. That way I can slide this left foot back and I return to hands and knees. Cat-cow. Inhale. There's our cow. Exhale. Round. Let's do 2 more. So we've done a few forward folds. They haven't been too deep. So let's place a back bend into the practice. Let's sit back briefly in hero, kind of the double hero. We're going to sit off to the side, swing the legs around to the front here. Now scoot forward enough where you're sitting in the center of the mat, plenty of space behind you. Make sure your books or blocks are nearby. Mine are right here. Roll down onto your back and just draw your knees into chest. And maybe add some intuitive motions here. I like to add some circles. Anything that feels like it's a massage for the back body. And since your feet are free, and your feet have already been doing some work, if you think about it, maybe some circles here. Circle the feet, flex, point. Then I like to do the same with the wrists. Go ahead and plant the feet into the floor. Be sure you can easily grab your blocks. You're going to inhale, fill up your lungs. Exhale through the mouth, feeling the air leave your belly. Engaging your core with that exhale. Pressing feet into the ground so you can lift your hips high enough to slide your books or blocks underneath you. Now my blocks are thin, so I place 2. If you've got one of the traditional thicker blocks, you may only need 1. And so just sit on the blocks, get comfortable here, and then just relax. Take some deep breaths. I like to call this a supported bridge pose. Supported because we are sitting on the blocks. Easy to be here. This is one of those poses you can probably be in much longer than 10 breaths if you want to. A nice way to open through the whole front side of the body. Let's take 3 more breaths here. And after your 3rd breath, we just need to re-energize the body just by pressing the feet into the earth, lifting the hips, and see if you can just pause there for a moment so you can feel the natural engagement of glutes and hamstrings. While that's happening, remove your blocks out from underneath you and then slowly make your way down to the earth. From here, we'll just draw knees into chest. We're going to come up to seated, so feel free to roll to one side and then press yourself up to seated. Here you might need to scoot back a little bit because we're going to extend the legs. Now, we've been here already, but we're going to go a little bit deeper. Here we're going to use our strap. Let's go ahead and lasso both feet. Get a good hold of the strap in both hands, just like this. And just tug on the strap as a way to help extend the spine. Notice how my back was kind of rounded. That just feels more natural, but we want to extend the spine. So a little pull of the strap to sit up nice and tall here. Nice straight legs, or as straight as can be with flexed feet. This is staff pose. We're going to turn this into seated forward fold, another bowing posture. Inhale, get tall. Exhale, leading with your heart and chin out towards toes. I'm basically just giving myself a little tug or pulling on the straps. Send my heart forward. Now I'm really feeling this. I want to pause here. Really feel the sensation of the straight legs, those hamstrings getting a good stretch. If you want to go a little deeper, feel free to bend the knees, which I'm doing quite a bit here. Even lower your chin, which allows your back to round, and then continue to go a little lower and deeper. Now you might not even need the strap. Maybe you can release the strap. Maybe you can reach your toes or just somewhere along the legs if you don't want to hold on to the strap. I want to reach out for my toes here since I can reach them. Lowering the chin, still taking deep breaths. Now, I'm going to invite you to be in a way, or be in this pose in a way, where you can hold it for a longer period of time. Let's see, how do we do that? Maybe you just need a few more props. Go ahead and bend the knees maybe a little bit more. If that blanket or pad that you were using is nearby, maybe tuck it underneath the knees. You can slowly feel a bit more relaxed here. Maybe the hands are just kind of resting along the ankles. And almost like you're just kind of drooped over here, instead of more engaged where the legs feel straight, the feet are flexed, and you're reaching up towards your toes. Let's just kind of relax into this pose so we can really take advantage of our intention, and that's honoring and appreciating ourselves. Appreciate yourself today. Just kind of relaxing in this melted, seated forward fold. Deep breaths. And while we're here, see if you can breathe a little bit more intentionally and deeply into your back body. Meaning, usually when we are in some poses, I have you breathe into your chest. Feel the lungs expand, heart opens. Here, since we're folded forward and our back is more exposed and rounded, of course, try to breathe into the backside of your body, the backside of your lungs. Feel the muscles expand, lungs expand, and deflate when you exhale. 3 more breaths. After that 3rd breath, now the back is rounded, legs are still bent, but let's pay attention to the back body. All right, lifting the chin away from the chest to help re-extend the spine. Maybe looking out past your toes. Reaching forward perhaps, so if you're holding onto the strap, release your strap, reach forward. Inhale as best you can, hinge your way up so you're nice and tall, reaching straight up so you kind of create a capital L in the body. Exhale, bring your arms down to your side. Maybe plant the hands near your hips, pushing into the floor, so returning to that staff pose we did earlier. Holding here for a moment. Again, shoulders rolled back, since they were probably rounded forward in our forward fold. So reopening up through the chest, breathe into the front body. All right, let's move our props out of the way. I'm going to lean to one side, swing the legs around behind us so we can return to hands and knees. Let's get set up for downward facing dog again. Step your hands forward, spread out your fingers, grip the mat with your fingertips, still feel that stretch between each finger. Root the palms into the ground, flat hands, strong straight arms. Tuck your toes, lifting your knees and hips into the air. There's our inverted V shape, stepping into place. Moving the hands. There's our down dog. Now, inhale, pick up right foot, extend the right leg back. Exhale, let's step through, right foot to the top of the mat. Okay, same idea, just getting the foot forward. You can do the exact same thing as we did earlier, but here, if you are able to get the foot to the top of the mat or near the hand, we'll go here. Turn left heel to the floor, rise up to fingertips, lift, shift back, so I can get the hands up to the thigh to help really extend the spine here. Rise up, reach up into the air, inhale, exhale, lunge. Warrior 1, second version. Now remember we did a forward fold with straight legs. Let's do that here, second version. Inhale, reach high, exhale, bring the arms down, hands to hips. We're going to straighten this front leg. Actually, we probably need to bend the knee again because we're going to reposition the left foot like we did before. Left foot to left side. Enough until the hips can easily turn and they're square. Just kind of looking at the edges and corners of your mat. Hips are doing the same thing. Now we'll straighten the legs. Nice and tall. Inhale, Exhale, hinge forward. Now you might pass the quarter mark. Maybe you can get to the halfway mark. Inhale here. Exhale, stay here, or maybe you can go a little deeper. So another bowing sensation. Really feeling this in the hamstrings, right? And hopefully, because of that seated forward fold that we held for a long time, maybe you can get into this pose with some ease. But if not, back up. Right here is fine. To come out of the posture, wherever you are, start by bending the right knee. Okay, so you can use that leverage, push into the floor with the foot to help you rise back up. Let's take both arms up into the sky. We're going to exhale, bring the arms down. Lean into this right foot. We're just going to step into mountain pose. Okay, that means we have to make our way back down to the earth. Here we go. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, swan dive. So spread your wings, bend your knees. Feel your heart come down towards your thighs. Relax head, neck, and shoulders, fingertips towards toes. There's our forward fold. Let's inhale, slide hands up to the shins or knees. Exhale, refold. Remember, I said we're going to do this a second time. This time going a little deeper, shifting the weight towards toes. I'm gripping the mat with the toes because it feels like I'm going to topple over, so the toes automatically grip. You're going to feel this full engagement in the backs of the legs. As best as you can, hold on to the backs of the legs. Inhale, just to feel, as best as you can, more extension to the torso. Exhale, fold a little deeper. I'm actually looking between my knees towards the wall behind me. So a deeper forward fold, standing. Kind of similar to what we just did seated. This is certainly more engaging. Okay, I'm going to bring my hands around to the front, slide the hands back up the legs a little bit to re-extend the spine. This exhale, fold, bend the knees, this time hands on the floor. Walk or step the feet back. Plank pose, strong straight line. Soft knees, hips into the sky, downward facing dog. Step into place. Let's do that whole segment on the other side. Inhale, pick up left foot, extend the left leg straight up and back. On the exhale, left foot comes forward, bending the knee, landing just behind left wrist is fine. Pivot or turn right heel to the floor, rise up to fingertips to help you extend the spine here, shifting the weight back into that back foot so you can easily get both hands up to the thigh. Continue extending torso. Inhale, hinge your way up. Let's take the arms up as well. Exhale, lunge. There's our first version, actually second version of Warrior One. Getting ready to do that second version of that forward fold with straight legs. Let's just go ahead and bring the arms down. You can kind of relax the legs, keep them bent. I'm leaning forward a little bit, stepping the right foot off to the right side. And we get the hands on hips here. Square out the hips, straighten the legs. Make those adjustments. Here we go. Inhale, feel tall. Exhale, hinge forward. Maybe at quarter, maybe at half, maybe at 3/4. Deep breathing. Now if you went to 3/4, but it feels too deep, maybe back it off a little bit. Notice how this feels in the left leg, maybe even your back and hips, bowing to yourself. 2 more breaths here. Coming out of the pose, we're going to lunge forward. Hinge your way back up. Let's take the arms up into the air. Exhale, bring the arms down. We'll go ahead and step forward, return to mountain pose. Well done. Rolling the shoulders. Alrighty. From here, let's do our last posture, which I want to call humble warrior, which is a bowing position. It's taking warrior 2 to a different level. Let's start in standing. Let's soften the knees, shifting the weight into the right foot, lean forward, grip the mat with the front set of toes, right foot. So the left foot feels light. You can tap it back until it stops, but then start shifting the body back and keep stepping back. And so we have a wider stance here. Let's inhale both arms straight up. You'll be in a warrior one position, but exhale, turn torso towards the right side of the room, arms to parallel. So you'll be in warrior two. And again, if you need to, make some adjustments with your feet. You can even take this a bit wider. Watch carefully. Actually, I'm going to spin around so you can see this back side. Inhale, reach out with the arms, stronger and straighter. As you exhale, bring the arms down and behind you. If you're able, interlace your fingers here. If not, just keep the hands free and just reach dynamically. I'm going to fold fingers. Turn your torso a bit towards your right knee. Your heart will be kind of pointing towards the left corner of your mat. That's fine. You'll tip your chin up slightly. Roll the shoulders back. This is that shoulder work I was talking about. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale, slowly hinge forward until your torso probably just rests right here on your thigh. And this is about as far as we'll take this. The folded fingers, they may just rest on your back, but if you can, just lift slightly away from the body. Now, to go deeper, just as an option, you can swing your torso away from that front leg and go deeper for a deeper bow. Okay, that's a little too much for me today, so I'm going to come back to this level. Just one more breath. Really getting some good weight into this front foot because we're going to use the strength of that right leg to hinge our way back up. Release the fingers. Reach the arms up. Exhale, bring the arms down, maybe to hips. Lean or shift weight into this front foot and just kind of maneuver. Just getting this left foot so I can bring it back up to the top of the mat. So I'm back to our mountain pose. I'm going to go over to this side so we can do the other side. All right, soft knees. Start shifting weight now into your left foot. Lean forward, grip the mat with your left set of fingers, your toes. Pick up the right heel, tap it back. Right there. Shifting the body weight back so you can take another big step back. Plant that back heel. Let's inhale, both arms straight up. There's our warrior one. Exhale, turn torso towards the right side of the room as your arms come down to parallel. Make some adjustments with your feet, maybe a wider stance. There's our warrior two, prepared for humble warrior. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, arms come down. Keep the hands free or interlace fingers. Let's turn torso so your heart's facing the right corner of your mat. Let's tip the chin up. Roll the shoulders back. As you're able, squeeze shoulder blades together, engaging your upper back. As you inhale, feel your heart lift up. Exhale, slowly fold forward until your torso just lands on your thigh, and that can be the end of the pose. Your hands that are folded behind you, they might lift a few inches away from the back. If you need to, they can just rest. Or if the fingers are not folded, you're just reaching back behind you. Couple breaths here in our humble warrior, bowing to ourselves. You can really feel the energy in this front leg. We're not going to be here too long. We don't want it to get too fatigued because we need to get back up. So here we go. I'm pushing into the floor with the left foot so I can hinge my way back up, releasing the fingers, reaching into the air. Exhale, bringing the arms down, hands to hips, leaning forward again. I'm just kind of tapping this right foot forward until I'm in mountain pose. There we are. Good, let's make our way down to the earth as we now move towards the end of our practice. Inhale, let's take the arms out and up. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, make your way down towards toes. Forward fold, our last one. Maybe look between your knees. Inhale, slide your hands up to your shins or knees, extending your spine. This exhale, folding all the way down. Bend your knees more. Hands on the mat, walk, step, both feet back, plank pose, high push-up position, hold. We'll hold briefly longer, just for strength, and then set the knees onto the ground. We'll sit back briefly in hero pose, then off to the side. Swing the legs around to the front here. Sit in the center of your mat, then roll down. Go ahead and draw the knees into chest. And once again, add some movement, some circles, side to side movements. Circle the ankles, flex and point. Get into the wrists. All right, let's set the feet onto the floor. Grab 1 or 2 blocks. I've got the thin block, so I'm going to take 2. 1 should be fine for this. So set yourself up for bridge, but we're going to do something that's slightly different. So bent knees, feet flat on the floor, a hold of your books or blocks. Breathe in, fill up your lungs. Exhale, engaging your core. Press feet into the ground so you can lift your hips high enough to get your blocks underneath you, or just 1. Sit on the blocks. So that's our supported bridge. We're going to do another leg extension. It'll kind of mimic, in a way, a forward fold. We're just at a different angle, that's all. Let's pick up the right foot and as best as you can extend the leg into the air. You'll do the same with the left. And there we are. It's almost like staff pose, okay? It's just at a different angle. Legs straight up into the air. You can kind of turn this into a forward fold. Because I'm on the blocks, I have the ability to move a little bit where my legs can kind of kick behind. Actually bend the knees and just kind of bring them in towards your belly. So you're kind of in a forward fold, but just kind of upside down here. We'll go ahead and re-extend the legs. Briefly, bend the knees again, but this time, feet down to the floor. Press feet into the floor so you can lift your hips. Feel the glutes and hamstrings engage. That's your cue to move the blocks out of the way. Come all the way down. Feel the nice reconnection to the earth. Let's go ahead and hug the knees into the chest again. Holding onto the shins or knees, flex the feet lightly and take the legs wide so we get a stretch in the inner legs right here. Nice variation of happy baby pose without needing to kick the feet up towards the ceiling. Just hold on to the legs here as they are, getting this nice stretch in the legs. Sometimes you can add some movement here. Deep breathing. Let's do one more pose together. We'll bring the knees together at center. Slowly, carefully take both knees over to the left side while you extend your right arm to the right side of the room. Creating a spinal twist. We'll hold here. Some more deep breaths. Here is where you might take those 5 to 10 breaths. When you're complete with those 5 to 10 breaths, we'll bring the knees back up to center and then down to the other side. So knees to the right, left arm over to the left. Be sure you're still breathing. Maybe the body's starting to feel a little bit more relaxed after our movement today, and that's perfect. Getting ready for our final resting position, which is Shavasana.
And after your 5 to 10 breaths, slowly and carefully make your way back to center. You can set your feet down and then extend the legs out onto the floor. And then just rest your arms down by your side, perhaps with palms up. We'll hold here for a few moments. Maybe starting with deep breaths. In a way, once we come to this lying down position, we can actually recreate what we did at the beginning of the practice. Imagine standing, mountain pose, taking some deep breaths just to get reacquainted with the breath. And then we just settled into gentle breaths. You can do the same thing here. Deep breaths, and then relax into gentler breaths, allowing your body to completely relax. Slow, steady breaths. Breathing with intention, feeling quite relaxed. And staying here as long as you need to. Even as I end the practice, you're welcome to remain here in Shavasana, really taking advantage of this relaxing posture. Really another way to appreciate and honor yourself. When you are ready to move, start with breaths, just some deeper breaths. We'll take 5 here. As you're breathing in and out with intention, feel movement also return to your body, bringing energy back into your body, preparing your body to come out of your pose. Sometime after your 5th breath, make sure you're moving in slow motion. If you're lying down, you might bend your knees so your feet are on the floor, using that posture to guide your way over to one side of your body. Use your hands in a new breath to rise up to seated. Feel free to bring in a prop to sit on. I'm just bringing in my folded blanket, maybe even crossing your legs here. Really ending the practice where we began, sitting nice and tall and proud, shoulders relaxed, arms down by your side. Can you just have your hands on your knees or in your lap? We'll take one more movement together. Inhale, extend your arms out and up. As you exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Take one more deep breath into your heart space. Breathe in, breathe out. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow saying, Namaste.
Thank you so much for watching and participating in this yoga lesson. To help us with the channel so we can continue to bring you more content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's really appreciated. Namaste.